My name is Father Tony Hollowell. I'm the pastor of St. Paul and St. Mark's parishes here in Perry County. And I want to share with you all and welcome you all to a video series which I've been wanting to make for about the last year. Art is a particular interest of mine, and I've been inspired by so much art around us here in the churches that I serve and also the churches in the surrounding area. And so we're going to journey through the Quad Parish community, spending time at each of the four churches, St. Paul, St. Mark's, St. Michael, and St. Pius, looking at some of the artistic riches offered to us in each space. Art needs to be emphasized because sometimes it's de-emphasized. Sometimes people think that art is excessive, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of money, and what's the point of it anyways? Can't we just worship God? That's why in this video series we're focusing on the art of worship. And these two words actually go together in a very intimate way. The reason why we have art is because we worship God. I'd like to share with you a little story that summarizes that connection between the two. This story is told of an artist who is working on a sculpture for churches, and as he's working on these various sculptures, both the front and the back, a person comes up to him and says, "Why are you wasting your time on the back of the sculptures if nobody is going to see them?" And the man replied, "Even if man does not see them, even if man does not see the back, God will." Such a beautiful testimony and reminder of the artistic spirit is ultimately about worshiping God and giving God our best. Art is not about having really expensive things and showing them off. It's about doing the best that we can with what we have and offering that to the most important person who will ever see our works, and the only person who will ever see our works in their true light, which is God Himself. There's a beautiful quote from a personal hero of mine by Joseph Pieper, and it comes in his book called Leisure, the Basis of Culture. Joseph Pieper writes this about worship: "Divine worship of its very nature creates a sphere of real wealth and superfluity, even in the midst of direst material want, because sacrifice is the living heart of worship." And what does sacrifice mean? It means a voluntary offering freely given. It definitely does not involve utility. It is in fact absolutely antithetic to utility. True worship sets up an area where calculation is thrown to the winds and goods are deliberately squandered, where usefulness is forgotten and generosity reigns. Joseph Pieper would be a very big supporter of this artist who was perfecting not just the front, but also the back. And the man criticizing him is someone who cares about utility, cares purely about function. Just pay attention to what man sees and what man will be concerned with. The artist is a true worshiper of God. The artist set up an area where calculation is thrown to the winds and generosity reigns supreme. As Pieper said, sacrifice is the living heart of worship. And all of the art that we have around us in this Quad Parish community is a testimony to the sacrifices of our ancestors and the way they wanted to worship God and give visible symbols of their generosity to future generations. I look forward to journeying with you as we receive, reflect on, and spend time with these artistic treasures, which are not only testimonies of the works of man, but are ultimately a testimony of the worship of man for the God whom we know, love, and serve to this very day.